Hello everyone, my name is Fox. This video started off as a thought experiment. Could I make the Steam pads operate like a trackball? And in my head I was like, yeah, I totally can make this happen. I'm going to make a big how-to video. I'm going to get MAME running. I'm going to get Marble Madness running. And I'm going to make those trackpads feel like a trackball like the old school arcades. And before I went too far in that, what cemented the whole idea is I was like, yeah, I even got this great title for the video and it's so dumb. But yeah, I became even more convinced that I had to go ahead and make the video. So I was like, okay, wait, I own some games that I know might have a trackball in them. And then Atari Volt came up. This is something that Wario tweeted out a while ago, and I got it for $1 back then. It's been on sale multiple times, like $1.50 and $2. It goes on sale fairly frequently. When I took a look in the game info, it says Steam Deck compatibility was unknown. Now, this I wasn't too concerned about because largely there's a bunch of games on Steam that say compatibility unknown. You just really have to just try it. Doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It just means that Valve hasn't certified it or anything yet. The thing that I want to get across here is that I was like wondering how far I was going to have to work to get Steam input to work. First, I have to explore to see if there's even a trackball game that I wanted to look at. This is where it actually starts off what you should be looking at. So I was like, okay, how much work am I going to have to do to get this to work? To get the trackpad to work as a trackball. First, let's find a trackball game. So I'm going through it, I'm looking, and I start at Centipede, and I was like, oh, Centipede was a trackball game, but I was never really a huge fan of Centipede, especially with a trackball. I didn't think that it really added all that much having a trackball. It's kind of very, very spastic. And then I landed on Crystal Castles. Now I was born in the early 80s, so I played this game actually in arcades 35 some odd years ago, and I really enjoy Crystal Castles. So I was like, okay, let's try Crystal Castles. So I fire up Crystal Castles, and I use the right trackpad, and it it worked just like I thought it would. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. So my idea of the Steam pad basically feeling like an old school trackball were accurate. Now there are ways that we can tweak this. I'm going to show you in a second. I'm going to try to let you know what this sounds like. Okay, so when you flick your thumb on the screen, you can kind of see that it just travels even after you flick your thumb. So there's acceleration. There's an idea of if you can conceptualize that there is a actual physical trackball that you're manipulating on the device itself. With the haptics, you can actually feel what feels like a ball rolling around inside. And while on the arcade, I actually prefer the higher acceleration because I would also flick it a lot faster. If we go to the main menu, I say, okay, well, what are we working with here? If I go to options and I go to controls, it just brings you into Steam input controls. And then I was like, whoa, wait. They have menu controls. They basically created a whole bunch of action sets per game that gets initialized per game. So the guys that did Atari Vault already kind of did all the hard work for you that every game is like, so you can see right trackpad behavior, radial menu, trackball for Crystal Castles. So if we go down to trackball here, you can actually tune things how you want it. So I have acceleration to high, output, you can do the rotation greater or lower. On the trackpad here itself, you can do different types of friction, spin speed, trigger dampening. Haptics I set to high just because I like how it feels. It was set on medium, but going up to high, I prefer it. What I would say is by default, it is better tuned for finessing the controls, actually playing the game well. Because when I used to play Crystal Castles in the arcade, I used to just be all out speed. Like I could like dart across the entire thing. With the default settings, it's kind of slow because of maybe it's probably because of how fast I can flick my thumb. But it is for sure different than how the arcade was. But this is by far the second best experience you can get in terms of playing trackball games accurately and having it feel like you think it should. I really can't stress that part enough, that playing this game is exactly as you think it should feel. And that's such a big accomplishment. So number one, this is something that I was trying to accomplish myself, which is going to MAME and using Marble Madness and stuff. But knowing that it does work as I thought it should work was just super awesome to me. I just Really, really happy that this actually worked as I thought it was. So this video became shorter than investing into making it work. Now, that doesn't mean that everything works great here. So if we go to the paddles, right? If we go to Tempest here, Tempest is a game that, you know, you have a dial that you should be moving around. But how it works, you would think that you would just be making a circle with your thumb or something. I originally thought stupidly that, especially because when I looked at the controller settings here, there's a thing called outer ring. There's this thing called outer ring. So there was a part of me that was like, oh, on the analog stick, there's this outer ring that we can like twist. I was like, yeah, that'll be how that works. And it doesn't. I still don't know what outer ring does. So if someone in the comment section wants to tell me what outer ring does, I don't know what that does. It's a function and it has some sensitivity and will take inputs or give out inputs based on something. I don't know what it is. I should probably go read the documentation on it. But this particular one, in this case, using the dial, using L1 to fire and to move around, you're basically repositioning your thumb to go over it. Not the best. It can be better, arguably, but it still does work. The trackball stuff, I think, is fantastic. So even if you were to spend $1 just for the few trackball games that are included in the Atari pack, I think that might be worth it. If we back out of here, if we go to the main menu, and we go ahead and just like take a look at the games that they have on offer. Now again, because the controls are already advertised to you, it says right there on menu controls on the bottom right, you can see X change tab. So you just press X to change tab. Now the other thing, the touchscreen works on this as well. So you can actually just touch on any of these elements and they will come up as well. So for how quickly everything got working, how the trackpad worked as a trackball immediately, I was extremely pleased with. Very happy with this entire experience. I think this is, again, it's hard for me to explain this, like how awesome this was for me as an experience to have. I think this was a good showcase to kind of highlight what to anticipate with games that are done well on the Steam Deck with Steam input. So this is one video that I'm going to be doing on Steam input. Thankfully, I found a game that supported Steam input just by complete happenstance. I do plan on making another Steam input video where we kind of take this a little bit further and try to make some crazy controls for other types of games that have a bunch of features and stuff. So I want to kind of do that video as well. I had a lot of fun making it. I had a lot of fun thinking about it. This was just a good video for me to make. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. For anyone that has been paying attention, there were a few Steam codes that were going in the little ticker field below. The secret code is a D. So if for anyone who's wondering what that character was, it's a D that you have to put in there. That's it, guys. As always, thank you for your time, and thanks for watching.